today's mission is to improve that fridge, because I can't see into it because I'm too tall. I have to climb up on the tailgate and pull it forward to see inside. So we're going to pull out all the drawers because I refuse to spend £400 on one when I could probably just do it myself. This is absolute chaos. I am trying to modify the drawers for the Land Cruiser because I'm finding they're a little bit too tall. My original plan was to just have drawers and chuck stuff into it, but I later realised that I can get these boxes, and these boxes I can pop them in and out, and if I just get a whole bunch of them and I just make sure my drawers are thick enough that I can stick one of them in, I can mix and match my load depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing. My drawer slides are over here because I was basically too cheap to spend the £400 on the tilting one, and now I regret it because it wouldn't have been an awful lot extra. But now it's too late. I've got this thing for like $250 and I wish it tilted. So my plan is, apart from to drink this beer, my plan is to fit it with a hinge on the leading edge. And given that will add even more height, I've just been taking 15mm off every surface so that when I fit the new tilt, it doesn't overwhelm the height for where my storage is, because this attic shelf is brilliant. I don't want to get rid of that. So that's my new tilt platform. Let me quickly chuck this together and show you what my plan is. There is my rough plan. Keep my existing two drawers, reduce the height overall, and I have this new tilting platform which I'll hinge on the front, and then I'll have some sort of restricting limiter strap on the back so that as the fridge slides forward, the weight of it will drop off the edge and tilt the back up. That is the plan. And I should be able to do all that for the price of £15 worth of plywood and like £4 for that hinge, rather than spending another £400 on a tilting fridge slide. Tricky thing with these drawers is if they aren't exactly parallel, they stick and they don't open and close very well. And these ones, naturally, aren't parallel, so they stick and they don't open and close properly. So that's 515mm, 510, so that's too narrow at the front, 513, 516, so too wide at the front. So probably if I can just move this over just a touch when I'm bolting everything together, that might be enough. It's sliding pretty well. My height isn't great, but I don't care. I could, sand that down later. That's one thing actually. I didn't reduce the height of these drawers, the drawer fronts, so they are my new front currently. But it's not the end of the world. Oh, I also made it shorter, so as well as taking the height down, I made this front edge shorter. Same at the back, because you can see where it's been rubbing against my seat, so I've made it shorter front and back to try and stop that, keeping my storage space down either side. And then when I close this lid, I want to have space. Great, I didn't have any space there before, because I'm going to need space when I turn this into a padded seat that flips open for me to access stuff, because I'm also not willing to spend £700 on the Hurricane tailgate storage. So I've got a spare one of these covers, and I'm going to make my own, which is also more padded, particularly along this leading edge, because when you're sitting up on top of it, this leading edge is quite sore on the backs of your legs. So making this a bit smaller because I need more space for padding, so that I can turn this into storage and a padded chair rather than just this carpeted piece. That is going to be a whole video of its own once I figure out what the hell I'm going to do with it, Anyway, let's try and get this other drawer in. These are always a flaming nightmare. Especially this one on the right hand side. This is the one that was the sticky one. So that was 513 at the back, and it's currently 516 on the front here. So I might have to push this in, screw it down, in order to get it to move in and out smoothly. Actually, I'm just going to go right ahead and do that now. That makes that a little narrower at the front, because I'm using the screw to hold it in. Let's see if I can get this drawer to cooperate now. Now I know for a fact that this one has ball bearings missing now, because it's had such a hard life that some of the ball bearings fell out. When I vacuumed the back of the car here, there was a bunch of them that were rolling around the floor. Now that won't even go in. So that's not ideal. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on there. Oh, I think it's my ghetto runner stop thing. It sounds like it's got a hard stop on something. That side's okay, but this one's completely jammed on something metallic. Ugh, I'll have to figure out what that is now. Better just take it completely off. Now, I do not fully understand these ball bearing slides, but that looks like there's a tab that's popped up, so I'll try and move that down with a screwdriver. Also, what's that? Is that something stuck in there? What the hell is that thing? It's almost like this whole bearing rack is too far back. The one on the other side here, the bearing thing is moving freely and it's all the way at the front. This side, it's all the way at the back and it doesn't move at all. Let me see if I can free that off somehow. I understand now, this side has it's like a backstop here, and on this side the bearing shuttle, for lack of a better word, has gone completely past the backstop. The backstop is just in here, so I'm going to try and move this back. Oh, there we are. So there's the backstop. Oh yeah, it's all bent, it's been leathering into it, so that's probably why it won't go back in. So where was I? There was a couple of the bearing holders that were a little bent, so I'll press them back down again just with my screwdriver here. Hopefully that's enough to get us back in business. Let's give that another go. That's that sawdust grinding into ball bearings. Okay. That one still needs a good shove in order to get it closed. It's just sticky, but I don't think it's because of the unsymmetrical width now. I think it's just because that slide is just a bit knackered now. But I can't be bothered replacing it. That'll do. There we go. 2 drawers. The height on that one's better. The height on this one is a bit too high on this side. I might sand that down a little bit so that it's flush. I've got extra space at the front here. I didn't have that before. And maybe if I trimmed that top edge a little more, the drawer might sit even deeper in if I wanted the extra space. That's good. Happy with that. I think what I'll do now is finish screwing this down in a few places and then have a look at the tilting mechanism. And I've got some previous screw holes here, so I'm just going to hope that the centre board is in the same position. And I can't see in the screw hole, so I'm just going to use this little marker. Yep, that's not going in. There's wood behind that, so that's the jackpot. Is there wood behind this one? Yes, there is. Wood there also. No wood on that one, so that one's moved a bit. But that's to be expected because we moved the whole thing in. These handles were my wife's idea, by the way. I was looking at doing something where I had straps or handles, or I was actually going to use these handles, so from the old Land Cruiser I've still got these handles, and I was going to put those handles on the front of the drawer, but that eats up into the space, and then my wife just said, why don't you just cut a hole in it? So there you go. She is far more educated than I am. Alright, there's a factory hook there, and I just got a bolted in hook on the side of the drawers here, and this is a two-way hook screw, so you screw that until it gets tight, and that pulls it down. Actually, it pulls it down into the carpet because I've still got 2 layers of carpet and sound deadening in there, so when I pull it, it snugs it down into the foam. Got to start looking at this tilt slide thing now. First things first, maximum length. There it is, 1035 millimeters, so I'll cut that across. Great thing about the Land Cruiser, tailgate, instant workbench. Damn it, I've just realised that to screw the other side of this down, I'm going to have to remove the drawers again. Shit. No, here's a better idea. I'll screw it into the leading edge of the drawers instead. If I have to make adjustments, I don't want to have to remove the whole flaming drawer kit every time I make an adjustment. I want the fridge as far back as I can, because that allows me some storage space in front of it. But I want to find out how far before this will reasonably tilt. Tell you what, I'm just gonna screw it down as far back as I can and see if that works. Right, please forgive the terrible lighting, but attempt number 1 doesn't tilt on its own. I have to pull it down in order to get it to pop. I mean, that would still be useful, but I have to then hold the weight down. There's no way my wife would be able to do that. Probably better if it was like loaded with beer or something, that would probably help, but that's not going to work. I'm going to have to bring the overall weight forward so that it tilts more readily, but that's fine. Alright, I didn't actually have to adjust it much, so that's now sitting forward under its own weight, and it's tilted all the way to the front there. Tripod. I just need to move it, well, that was like 3 inches forward, something like that. So now I'll put proper bolt holes in to secure it down, straighten it up a little bit. Cool. Alright, I've just tied this down, just with a little buckle strap. Cheap little things. But now, I've got a little bit of space, so I'm going to get my hoover off there. I've got a little bit of storage space at the front, not as much as I had before. The back is going to have some dead space, so maybe the back I'll have to figure out what I'll store there. Like maybe I could put my recovery boards in behind the fridge or something like that, because I've got some dead space there now.
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm just recording a video. But rather than spending 400 quid on a slide, instead I spent £16 on some wood, £4 on a hinge, and there we have it. A pull down slide. Bargain of the century. Couple of hours and some really small costs. The downside is my son has spilled every screw out of my box, and now I need to tidy this mess up. But that's good. That's way better than the straight slide that I couldn't see into. That is just the ticket. No beer in there though, and that fridge needs a wash. But that is that's a big improvement for less than 20 quid spent. And of course my drawers now have these little handles in them, and I still got storage space down the side for some tools like that. Like that's my recovery bag. It's got tow ropes and shackles and things that can go down the side. That's a tyre inflation that can go down the side too. Not bad, not at all bad. That's much improved. And again, the next phase is to build a thicker seat on the tailgate that also integrates some storage. But that'll be a much bigger video. Done. Spent 20 quid and some time instead of 400 bangers. I'm very happy with that. All this is just because Patch is coming to visit, and I'm ashamed of how many of these small jobs I haven't taken care of. So that's another one off the list. I've just spotted another one. I've got to redo the bolts on top of that awning. Anyway, if you found that useful, do hit like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.